Hello, Laszlo Andor is a Hungarian politician and economist. Between 2010 and 2014, he was the European Commissioner for Social Affairs, Employment and Inclusion. He's come to speak to me today about the state of the European Union today. Laszlo, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for inviting.
So my first question is, how far has Europe recovered from the financial crisis?
Well, the European economy has recovered if you just look at the GDP growth rates. But we cannot say that the European Union fully recovered from the crisis. We haven't recovered the losses that we suffered through this unprecedentedly long financial and economic crisis. If we see some countries still having unemployment around or even over 20%, of course this is still an extraordinary situation, and there should be more efforts to bring down these high levels of unemployment.
So you mentioned that unemployment is high in some places, and certainly we see that in the south of Europe, where, for example, in Greece, you've got 4 out of 10 young people who don't have a job. What can the EU do about that? Is it doing enough?
Well, there is one measure which has been advocated by many, including the International Monetary Fund, which is a debt relief, and to allow Greece to stimulate the economy through more investment, but also a more supportive fiscal position. This, I think, is a precondition for a job-rich growth.
Politicians such as Yanis Varoufakis and indeed Emmanuel Macron have both said that Germany is benefiting from the woes of other EU member states. Do you agree with their assessment?
Well, first of all, I would agree that Germany is a beneficiary of the euro. German economy benefits strongly from the single currency, which keeps the German economy quite competitive and allows it to grow and develop its potential on world markets. This is very important. But it's also true that during the time of the crisis, we also observed a few developments which would not have happened without the Eurozone crisis, especially if we look at the arrival of many skilled, including highly skilled people from southern European countries to Germany. And obviously, this helps quite significantly the German employers, while these people at the same time find employment which they wouldn't find at home.
What role do you think the European pillar of social rights has played in making Europe a more fair place? And indeed, has it made it more fair?
Of course, it's not the EU which maintains welfare states, it's the member states which maintain welfare states. But to highlight the importance of employment policy and equal opportunity in the labor market, together with strong welfare systems and the importance of good working conditions as an ambition, a shared ambition of all European countries, I think this is an important contribution, and the Commission can see what kind of follow-up, what kind of implementation, legislative or other type, has to follow this new policy.
Finally, you come from Hungary. A lot of people are saying that Hungary is slipping into autocracy. Do you see this happening? And if so, what can the EU do about it?
Well, first of all, I have to agree that there is what we call democratic backsliding and a very significant weakening of the rule of law. And in the past about 7 years, since 2010, has been a process of great concern, and not least because now Hungary is not alone. But Poland, which is a larger country, also set a similar direction. Europe, I think, needs to maintain, first of all, a dialogue to clarify where the European standards lie and what are the important values which Hungary, Poland and all other countries would need to maintain. Europe could do also more in order to ensure that the European law is implemented and, for example, that European money is not wasted.
So can I just ask you, what kind of abuse are we seeing in Hungary?
Well, very often EU funds are connected with the kind of political food chain, and it's not the communities which are planning their economic and social development and want to access EU funds, but entrepreneurs, close to the entourage of the ruling political groups, promote ideas, and purely in order to absorb EU funds without a proper appreciation of what exactly the local communities need. This happens in Budapest, but also in other parts of the country.
Okay, thank you very much, Laszlo Andor.
Thank you very much.